What is going on, everyone? My name is Northy and welcome back to another round review slash preview for the Teamcoach season. And of course, we're having a look at round 17 and looking forward to round 18. We're going to have a look at how he did with a few different game modes here and there that have been poor but have also been good. So there's really no middle ground this week. It feels like there's both ends of the spectrum, and you'll get to see what that means in just a sec. But nonetheless, if you still enjoy watching these videos and want to see more from me, be sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new. I still enjoy doing these, and I always love it when I get this out on time, because I know that's always been a thing for me where I struggle to get these specific videos out on time. But here I am on time, ready to do it. So I hope you guys enjoy what you see here today. And of course, if you are enjoying the content, let me know in the comments too. So I appreciate you all for tuning in, and let's have a look. What does round 18 have in store, and what did round 17 do for us? Beautiful, here we are on the home page, and there's plenty of things to look at. You can see the change from this week compared to the last couple of weeks. There are no heads ups here, which is unfortunate, meaning that we don't have a prize card for our game modes. However, there is one that has been a bit sneaky here, so I'll let you have a guess as to which one's been the sneaky one. But first, we'll have a look at top team. This was our top team in round 17, and it was very, very unlucky. This would have been a fantastic top team despite one pick. I'm very upset that this didn't go as well as I really thought it could have. Brian Myers as the forward was fantastic. He had a beautiful game. I don't know if he was the best one, because Cameron obviously had a fantastic one, but we know Brian Myers did really well just because it was against Richmond. Bailey Smith was the late out. That's why, unfortunately, this ended up going not as great as I would have liked it to. But on the other hand, Nasiah, you saw on the homepage, he was the best backman for the weekend. 43 touches is definitely a way of doing that with 33 kicks. That is a fantastic way to get yourself some good points. And Max Gawn was disappointing. He's probably the low light of the week. You see his average is good throughout the season, but look at all these ruckmen who did much better than he did. I just feel like I am not getting any kind of luck with my ruckman this year. Ryan Marshall topped it. Lloyd Meek with 138. So that's Saints Hawthorn game was definitely a winner. Tim English doing really well as of late. Darcy Cameron continues his strong form. Same with Brodie Grundy. He's been sneaky good. Really sneaky good this season. So fantastic from him. Nank did well despite the result. Kieran Briggs did pretty well too. And yeah, lots of really good performances, but I didn't pick one of the best. It definitely hurts. Absolutely hurts. There's so many opportunities here to do well, and I missed them all. I really missed them all. So in terms of who we've got for next week, again, it comes down to who's playing who. It's honestly really hard to find a good matchup this week. So if I look by average, obviously Max Gawn is the best, but his form hasn't been great. I want to go Brodie Grundy. Brodie Grundy has been consistently really good over the last month. I feel like he could be a fantastic little surprise pick this week, and I'd be very, very happy if he manages to pull it off. I am going to switch out this one as well for the idea that Connor Rosey plans, I believe, to have a pretty good one. They are coming up against a not so great side in West Coast. And then, of course, Richmond play Essendon, so that's going to have a lot of questions within that one too. I'm honestly tempted to go Zach Merritt because he's really found his form again. I think I am. I'm going to go Zach Merritt. His form has been really good again, which is fantastic for him. They're putting him in the midfield again too, which has definitely been the thing that's been holding him back throughout the season. I honestly don't feel like going away from Naz right now. Naz feels like the clear number one pick. He's getting midfield minutes too, which is great for him. Just the forward. Is there anyone prime for a big weekend? There's a lot of good performance from last week. Do we have a sneaky one? I think this week may need to be one of those safe weeks. We may go Luke Jackson, but Cozzy feels like a good pick too, up against a really solid side, or a solid side to come up against in North. I think Cozzy's going to be the one this week. It's a bit of a risky one. That one is definitely risky, but he's getting more midfield minutes, and watching him play against Adelaide, yeah, he's absolutely stepped up this season, and he's getting more of a opportunity in that Melbourne team now, with a few players kind of dropping off. So I think Cozzy could be a good pick. So I'm going to save that one. Have a look at the ladder here, and we checked last round. Yeah, 336. With 3 players, that really isn't terrible, and I'm quite happy with it. But when we don't have Bailey Smith, it means that everything else kind of breaks down along with it. So we were in the thousands for our round rank. That was an insane outcome, but it's the way it goes, unfortunately. Bailey Smith's out really ruined us. It was very, very tough. Max Gawn probably would have held us back from getting the win anyways, but we're going to have to hope that everything goes right this week. And there's a few picks here and there that, I mean, if they swing our way, I can see a 4-star win, but I'm not terribly confident with this one. It really could. It's the beauty of nine game rounds where like everyone's playing. Something could happen. So we'll see how this one turns out. We're going to go over to our 18, and of course this is what it looked like here. So a few good ones. Obviously we talk about Nas. We had Jeremy Cameron. Cozzy did well. Darcy was okay. Jackson okay. Rankin was good with the 5 goals. So the forward line was actually pretty decent, all things considered. Rosie good. Dacos good. Dawson pretty good too. Just, yeah, the Bailey Smith out really messed with us. Really messed with us. There's just a blank space there. This is basically what the team was, and it hurts. It really hurts. Harry Sheasel could have been better. I think about the Bulldogs backman as well, and I think they did okay. I think Richards kicked a few goals. Dale got a little bit involved, but not nearly as much as some this week. If we have a look at the last round, you see Colby McKercher is slowly but surely getting the average a bit higher and higher, which is great to see. But I need to take a few of these guys out just to see where they ranked. So if we go by last round, you see Sheasel there at 93. That's okay. That's not too bad. Where else do we find? We've got Ed Richards, 84. Zorko, 79. So a few ones. Nick Martin, 74 is very off from what I expect from him. But it's the way it goes sometimes. We're going to chuck in Richards again. I'm just trying to think, where else do we... I think McKercher gets the pick up this week. He's getting more and more touches. It's great for him. I'm glad that he's doing well. I'm trying to think where else, though, we can pick up some cheeky ones. I think Zorko will be a good one. They are up against Carlton. So, I mean, the idea of poor kicking in front of goals, Zorko takes the kick out. So, I feel like that's a good pick again. I don't want to go with the same guys again because sometimes it feels like bashing your head over the wall. But we'll have a look. Oh, it's really tough to know for certain. I'm really struggling with this one. I think considering how weak, or how, I guess weak. I don't know whether weak is the right word for Melbourne, but Sheasel really could explode this week. I feel like there's a chance, and I don't want that to be just North Melbourne cope. I hope that's not the case anyways, but there's not very many outstanding picks this week, which is a shame. I am going to chuck in, while I have the chance to, Brodie Grundy. We have a look at the midfielders, and of course, Merritt was in our top 4, so we'll chuck him in our top 18. Oh, I don't know how I feel about putting Dacos in again. That could be a bit of a poor one, but I'm looking, I don't know where else I can really find anyone that could step up. Libba's been great as of late. I'm just trying to think of favourable matchups, but favourable matchups just aren't coming to me at the top, on the top of my head. I'm thinking Brisbane maybe, but like it's hard to find like safe picks in Brisbane. Oh, it's a really tough week. I'm gonna stick with Dacos. I think if he doesn't get tagged, then he's going to have a good game. But of course, he's up against Gold Coast, and they've probably got the personnel to tag him. So I'm very worried about that pick. Dawson had an off week, I think. He didn't have a fantastic game, but he did all right. I think he was close to 30 disposals. He was up there. Yeah, 94. It's not fantastic, but it's all right. Goulden, he's back to his best. Definitely going to keep him in. And I think I'm going to stay somewhat on the same page with the forwards. Yeah, it's hard to really pick anyone else. Maybe Toby Green somewhere, but honestly, I feel like these guys are the most in form in the forward line at the moment. Rankin's probably the biggest question mark. Maybe chuck Toby Green in there instead, but I don't know. It's hard. It's really hard to find the right matchups. I think the top 4 just actually felt more confident, which is funny, but that's what we're going with for top 18. Let's check the ladder. You can see here for the season, we are getting closer and closer to that top 20, which is exciting, but you can see with our result, although it was good, it wasn't good enough. We were 50th. So dead on 50. We were about 26 points away from a prize guide. That definitely sucks. Man, it's almost as if we had Bailey Smith out and someone else in. It would have been a fantastic response, but I don't know how this guy keeps coming back in. This is not the first time I've seen that name. Someone pointed it out and I definitely would have missed it, but Charlie is just a consistent. He is fantastic at this so far this year. So shout out to you, Charlie. You continue to absolutely bust through the door this season. Fantastic work. I don't know where are you for this one? I feel like you got to be in here somewhere. You're not. Surprising, very surprising. You've had a great season so far, so good on you, but that's what we're going for top team. This was our team last week for the Silver Star Powers, and you know, there's a few obvious ones that didn't do too great. Dawson for his usual standard and gone. I think Ashcroft did all right. He did okay. If we have a look at his previous round, yeah, 66 is awful actually. That's really not good for his standard, but that's all right. We're not going to worry too much. It's really a hit or miss with this one, and it's tough to hit, really tough to hit. Brian Myers played fantastic though. It was good to have Brian Myers in there. We've talked about Gorn already. Definitely not the greatest performance from him, but Connor Rozee was good. And then, of course, there were plenty of other choices in here. I may go with Zach Merritt this week, and I do want to go with Sherry in the matchup with Max Gorn. I really think I should put in Brodie Grundy this week if I'm going to put him in my top 4. In fact, I'm not going to be lazy. I'm just going to go and do that right now. I didn't need to go and get my album, but I'm too lazy, I guess, to look it up, which is a very strange way of putting it. But nonetheless, I have myself what I hope to be a fantastic outcome in these Brodie Grundy codes. I've actually got his silver and team, so I'm going to use both of those this week. There we go. So he's locked into the silver side of things, and I'm going to put in the code now, but we'll have a look at how we did in the week last week in terms of rankings. So with this lineup, or last week's lineup, we had ourselves a pretty good week. We had ourselves ranked 14 now for the entire season. There's Charlie. I knew Charlie would be somewhere, but 462 for this round. So actually a little bit below our usual positive performances here. 449 was a very bad outcome. But look, Charlie is just, I don't know what has gotten into Charlie this season, but fantastic work from you once again, just smashing it every single week, it feels like. Yeah, 449. Definitely need to be better than that. If we're doing, if we want to be close to the best, we need to get at least 100 per player. And that is not what happened last week. So hopefully these 5 will be able to do it for me this week. Then we move to Ultra, and I have just changed this one up, but this was originally Luke Jackson. This was what the lineup was looking like. I don't believe I have Zach Merritt, so I am going to stick with Jordan Dawson here. But nonetheless, I am still quite confident, and I'm usually confident because it's just kind of the way it goes with Team Star Powers or Ultra Star Powers, is that it usually does better if you have all the cards, or the good cards, which I guess is a bit of a pay-to-win feature, which does suck for the ones who can't get packs as often as I do. I know it's not very fair, but with the way that it is kind of made and done, when we have the option to change players like this to ones in form, use their double points, then I'm very happy that I have the advantage in that sense. I'll try not to brag too much. I know you guys don't want to hear it, but this is what the team is going to be looking like going into next week. So let's look at the ladder. Usually we do pretty all right, but again, as you saw, we were not in the prize card territory. So we check the season. We are still at rank 12. So there is myself. I'm still above Jason, which is good, but the gap gets a little smaller. That's not great, but we have a look at round 17, 170. Yeah, definitely needs to be better next time. So 756, I needed at least 100 more, like 120 more in terms of points to get into the top 20. So very tough week. Some just uncharacteristic poor performances from some of them, but hopefully will be changed up next time around. So with that being said, let's have a look at fantasy forecast. Usually I do this somewhat first, but for a reason this week, I've decided to do this last out of the 3 main game modes. And if we check the previous rankings, look at how many top 10s we've got. We've got a fair few, but of course the one that really kind of jumps off the sheet is this Christian Salem, number 1, obviously being for Melbourne, meaning I am getting the Melbourne team set on my way. Very excited for that one. Very, very happy indeed. Definitely can't go too wrong with that one. But Mason Wood at 7 with a 9 margin, a 6 margin with Luke Ryan as well. Oh man, it's so random sometimes how it goes. Like, we got an 8th ranking with Errol Goulden, 22. That is quite wild, honestly. I did not expect that. But then again, Jordan Dawson and Luke Ryan with higher rankings but close scores, meaning a lot of people got it right on the money or very close to it. I'm just very happy with this Christian Salem outcome. 3 fantasy points off, 0 in the disposals, which is hard to do. It's just pretty hard. Right on tackles, obviously goals isn't too hard for Christian, but 1 off the marks, like that's a very, very good forecast and very good guess. So I'm very happy with that. Obviously not too much to look at elsewhere, but I guess in the sense of Zach Merritt being 89 off is very, very outlandish. Didn't expect that, but there you go. So of course I've got the Melbourne forecast kit on the way, and I have chucked in next round's forecasts as well. The good thing is every team that I win just means 1 less team that I have to worry about chucking their players into, so it's a bit quicker each time. I just got to keep winning for it to keep happening. So there's 3 teams. That is my 3rd one, Melbourne. Fantastic. Finally, after this long episode, we're going to finish on tips, and I'll try and race some of them a bit quicker than usual. But Carlton versus Brisbane, I think with the way that this season has gone, it's pretty safe to go Brisbane because Carlton just have shown no signs of life. Gold Coast Collingwood, despite Collingwood being number 1, I'm going Gold Coast. I think they've got the home field advantage. They play well there. They've notoriously been good against Collingwood, so we'll see how that turns out. Dogs versus Adelaide as well. This is another one that I'm going with a bit of an upset, despite it being their home game. Adelaide have been playing out of their skin, so I really wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people pick Adelaide, but Dogs have a lot of firepower, and when they're doing well, then they end up winning a lot of games that a lot of people have counted them out of this year. A lot of wins against bottom 9 sides, not top 9 sides, so this will be a big test for them. GWS versus Geelong at Angie Stadium. This one, I think it's going to go Geelong's way, although GWS do have some players playing out of their skin right now. But Bailey Smith will be back. Their best has been fantastic. I think I'm going to stick with Geelong here. But then Richmond, Essendon, I think this one will be really close, and I'm really excited to see how this one turns out. But considering experience and just how many numbers and players that Richmond don't have access to right now, I'm going to go Essendon. Freo versus Hawthorn. I have decided to go with Freo at Freo. They kind of need to win this one, but Hawthorn could definitely pick them up. With the way that Freo have been playing at times during the season, they've been fairly inconsistent sometimes, so it would not surprise me to see Freo drop this and completely ruin their top 8 chances. But Melbourne versus North. I've got to tip North. We beat them by 59 last time, despite us having less players than then and not being at the best of standard at the moment. I just want to win, man. Saints versus Swans. Last year, notoriously, the Saints had won this one, despite Sydney being first on the ladder. Obviously, it's a bit different this time. They still could do it. I think St Kilda can definitely pick off some teams that don't expect it. And with Naz being playing out of his skin, they definitely could play a fantastic one. But I think with the Swans finding form again and knowing that their season's on the line, they're going to play out of their skin in this one. And then Port Adelaide versus West Coast. Look, Port, there haven't been anything to write home about, but West Coast have certainly not been up to the standard they would have hoped. So we're going to go with Port Adelaide for this one. Save those tips, and I just want to quickly point out, this is the second week in a row that I've managed to get right on the money. Look at that, round 17. I had 9 out of 9. Of course, I never do it first, and I'm always like way off first. I was 86th to get it right. So I don't win anything for it, but hey, I'm going to take double or 2 weeks in a row with correct and 100% tips. That's fantastic. That is where I am going to end today's video. Once again, like I said at the start, I really appreciate all of you guys who do tune into this one and tune into these types of videos. I love just talking everything about the game mode and keeping it running, keeping it going, and staying invested, because you get cool cards if you do and stay committed to it. So I appreciate you guys who keep on me and make sure that I do all that stuff. But nonetheless, hope you guys enjoyed it. That's the most important part. If you did, leave a like, subscribe. It would be greatly appreciated if you did those 2 things. And of course, be sure to go down in the description, check out my podcast, my breaks page, and my Discord. My Discord especially, if you want to get access to all the Silver Star Powers codes, that is how you can find them and use whatever player you would like. So feel free to go over there. But I will say, thank you so very much again for tuning in, and I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.